Well, hey guys, we're in Corinth, Mississippi today, standing right by where the gas pumps for Teresa's truck stop once stood. And I figure this is as good a place as any to start telling the story of Junior and Shirley Smith. One book I read said they came to the Corinth area with Fanny Bell Barker, but whoever brought them and however they got there, Junior and Shirley and Towhead White showed up at the 45 Grill somewhere in 1953. Jack was so pleased to have Shirley around, well, he gave her 5 acres on the back side of his place. In November of 53, see, he considered Shirley family and knew that land could probably help her someday. Junior started right away working for Jack as a bouncer, but he just really didn't do too good. He just didn't seem to have the right kind of personality for that job. Towhead, on the other hand, really enjoyed being a bouncer, and while Junior couldn't fight too good, and he really couldn't shoot that well either. Jack once took Junior out shooting behind the Shamrock, and well, he decided he'd be better off teaching Junior how to cheat at cards and dice and things like that. That didn't seem to fit Junior either, so he finally took a job as a bootlegger and bartender. He made his first bootleg run into Missouri in January of 54, and Shirley took a job at her mother's truck stop, Teresa's truck stop, which you're walking through right now. Junior had begun to get bored making booze runs when he ran into an old buddy in Tupelo. They got together and decided they might go back into the robbery business. But Junior wanted to be married to Shirley before he got too active, and in June of 56, they were married. Junior continued bootlegging for Jack, and he and Shirley opened up their own motel with his help. By 1958, Junior and his gang were hitting much bigger and more difficult targets. Junior and Shirley enjoyed all the money they had been making, and well, Shirley could often be seen riding around town just dripping in diamonds. By 1959, the Smith gang had hit places in Florida and Kentucky and even Illinois. Junior was on a whiskey run for Shirley's mother when on the way back home in Jackson, Tennessee, he was pulled over by a state trooper. He was arrested and taken to the Madison County Jail. At his hearing, he was given 1 year, but the judge reduced it to 3 months jail time and 9 months probation. Junior and his crew decided to go way over to Bolivar County, Mississippi, to the Beulah Bank. It had a safe that Junior thought would be particularly easy to crack. They opened the safe and grabbed cash and traveler's checks and hurried away. In August of 60, they broke into the safe at Southern Airlines at Laurel Airport. The Forrest County Sheriff, Bob Waller, caught the gang, and bond was set at $10,000 each. Junior called Shirley, and well, Jack Hathcock took care of his bond. Junior was sentenced to 5 years in prison. Shirley got in on the fun with law enforcement when she was arrested for passing stolen traveler's checks. She had to post a $5,000 bond. In April of 61, 5 of the Smith gang were arrested in connection with the Beulah Bank burglary. They were released on a $25,000 bond. In July, Shirley was indicted by a grand jury in Greenville. Junior was sitting in jail in January of 62 when Jack Hathcock, Nelson Timlake, and a lawyer from Biloxi came to visit him. Junior was told that everything would be okay and he was going to be out of jail shortly. But now Junior also understood that someday he would have to pay this favor back. When Junior got out of jail, he went back to doing what he enjoyed the most. That was burglary. In January of 63, a member of the Smith gang was caught in Jackson, Mississippi, and he sang like a bird. He told the policeman that Barry Junior Smith was the mastermind of the whole operation. He also told them that Junior had helped rob Southern Airways and also the Riverside School in Avon, Mississippi. On January the 25th in 63, police cars pulled up to the El Rey and Teresa's truck stop. So all kinds of hookers and gamblers and drinkers took off running. Junior was arrested, and on the way to the Washington County Courthouse, he told the policeman all about his criminal escapades. When Junior got before the judge, he pled not guilty, but he was on federal probation for the Beulah bank robbery. Law enforcement had uncovered 56 burglaries that they could tie to Junior and his gang. After all kinds of legal wrangling, Junior walked away with only probation. In April of 66, Junior and Shirley were sharing a meal with Hayward King and his wife. Shirley had sold half of the property that Jack had given her behind the Shamrock when Junior was arrested in January of 63, and King wanted to buy the other half. King wanted to take a better look at the property since it had been a while since he had seen it. He pulled up to a gravel road just north of the Shamrock and heard a lot of yelling and cussing. He looked up and saw W.O. waving his hands and saying he could not use the right-of-way to get onto his property. King drove on, and W.O. threatened to shoot him if he ever came back. About 2 weeks later, King stopped by Junior's and asked him if he would go with him out to the property and show him the property lines. When they pulled up to the road just north of the Shamrock, they found it blocked by a gate with a lock on it. King shot the lock off, and he and Junior went on to the property. When they returned to their car, W.O. started shooting at King and Junior, hitting King with a couple shotgun pellets and Junior in the ear. King returned fire, hitting W.O. in the ankle. The courts later ruled in King's favor on usage of the right-of-way because Jack had not put any stipulations on use of the road back when he gave the lot to Shirley. In 64, Junior and Shirley built Old Hickory Bar and Grill down by the state line, and it seems to have done very well, except for one time they needed to free up a little cash to operate with, and Junior offered Sheriff Pusser a silent partnership in the business. According to one book I read, this became a very profitable friendship. On April the 2nd, 1969, Shirley called Towhead early on that Wednesday morning. She asked him to take her out later that evening. Even though Shirley was married to Junior, Towhead was very excited, and he agreed to pick her up at 6:30 from the El Rey Motel. He was going to drive up in front of room 3. The pair rode to go get some blackberry moonshine. Shirley and Towhead spent several hours shooting cans and drinking moonshine before they headed home. When they got back to the El Rey, Towhead tried to pull Shirley to him, but she scooted over to the passenger door. Just as he was asking her what she was looking at, a .30-30 slug entered his forehead. Towhead's brains were splashed everywhere. Shirley was pulled out of the car by one of Junior's friends as he walked around to the driver's side and shot Towhead 6 more times. Junior went and called the police. Junior was arrested for first-degree murder, but he pleaded innocent. He said he did it all in self-defense. The grand jury returned no true bill and the charges were dropped. Junior had repaid his debt for being sprung from jail. Louise Hathcock and W.O. Hathcock and the Smith burglary gang, it seems that he found Jesus in his later years and really wanted people to forget his past, even though the way he had lived his life certainly hurt many people. I think it's important to remember that while these stories are certainly interesting to listen to, the players in them are real people, and the things that happen in these stories impact these people for generations. Thank you.